Hey guys, welcome to another Dark Avengers comic book review. First and foremost, we always get into the news. Comic Shop News 2010 Christmas Special was released this past week. Um, got covers of all the fun. Wait, I'm going to turn it over, Mike. Christmas themed issues, old and new. I especially like the sleigh in the front. It's a rundown of everything for Christmas. They wish you a happy Merry Christmas. News, and news. Check it out. It's free at your local comic book store. Also this week in the mainstream news, if you get the comic book news, you get the next poster for Batman, which is incorporated. That one that I put away. A little funny thing that Amber actually just made me remember was in this Christmas one, it has a checklist of all the stuff. So for those of you comic fans that want to show people what you want for Christmas by checking it off on a list, there you go. Also, as you guys can see, guest starring is Joe and Amber, my panel in training, and as you all know, Mike behind the camera.
Hello.
He's wearing the same shirt as I am actually this week. Okay, first we're gonna get into Marvel. These comics were released November 24th, 2010. First up, I got my hands on the recent SpiderMan magazine, number 14. Comes with a double pin-up and a poster. And Mike's done. The pin-up is Peter Parker, which you don't have to zoom in on. It's Peter Parker, which sucks. And then the poster, which is a little bit better, but not exactly that much better, which is Spider-Man versus the Lizard. It's an alright poster. I would say, honestly, the magazine ranges from kids can read it to adults. After reading this, I could definitely say that. The first story involves Black Suit Spider-Man, which then leads into the Black Suit leaving Peter Parker and finding Eddie Brock, who in this telling, in the Marvel Adventures tales, he's a burglar, and he gets the Venom costume. The only bad thing I could say about this costume is, I'm trying to find a picture. Oh, in the middle there's the Lizard story, which has the actual cover. The cover is the poster, and then after the Lizard story, it goes back into the Venom arc. As you can see, the next story it returns back to the Venom arc, and I have one problem with Venom. Obviously, between the mainstream and I want to see if I can get a better picture. No, that's just of the teeth. Between the mainstream and this stream, Venom had dental work.
I can't help but laugh when I see that. I'm sorry. It just does not look like Venom.
Yeah. I don't know what happened, but he has dental work. Now his teeth are just straight. See? They have a nice zoom up of it. I'm sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, that is not Venom. There's no tongue even. New artists. These new artists reimagining these. And then the last story is about Vulture. The end. I won't be getting the Iron Man magazine anymore, but you guys will be seeing me get the Spider-Man magazine. I enjoy Spider-Man. Don't get me wrong, yeah, I'm criticizing the way Venom looked, but these stories were fun to read. Like I said, this is a magazine that kids and or adults can enjoy. I think it's pretty cool. I enjoy it. It's good to see just Spider-Man, you know. Big Time is doing great, but after all the bullshit that they went through at one moment in time and shit like that, you kind of... Anyway, this comic is from last week. I decided to pick it up because, I don't know, I was interested. Evil Incarnate, Osborn, number 1 of 5. Osborn's in jail, and this is all about the Goblin tattoos, what's going on in the Goblin world. And it's about Osborn. He said, I'm going to get out, and they're like, well, we've rehabilitated. You know, rehabilitation obviously doesn't work. He can fake being sane, even when he's insane. And there's a bunch of zealous villains, people that you don't even know. Pete from Pete's Basement actually mentioned this. By the way, you guys should be watching Pete's Basement. These are villains that nobody's ever heard of. And there's a backup story about one of the villains, a female villain. I don't know. It has promise for a good miniseries, but in the end, Osborn disappears. So, I don't know. Take it for what it's worth. I'm going to stick around for the other 4 issues. There's really nothing bad about it, per se, so I'll stick around. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not good, but it's not bad either.
One question.
What?
The main character disappears.
Oh no, he disappears, but he comes back.
Okay, yeah.
The funniest part was the priest, who the priest where the collar's up to here. I thought it was funny. I gotta show that. You think the priest is the good guy, nice guy. Oh, by the way, guys, for those of you who have been seeing this and know I like Wolverine, no, I will not be getting Wolverine. I think I've said this already, but I'm not getting that title. The best there is. Just not interested at all. So yeah, the priest is talking, and then he takes off his clothes to reveal on the back of his neck a Goblin tattoo. So he's linked to Osborn as well. So Osborn's going to get out. We all know he's going to get out. One way or another. The right way or the wrong way. Osborn's going to be free. And he knows he's going to be free. Okay, that's one Spider-Man book. Now, this book is on the bottom of the pile, even though it's a Spider-Man book. Sorry about that. This book is on the bottom of the pile for a reason. Ultimate Spider-Man 150, and I'm going to tell you guys why it's on the bottom of the pile. This is a 3... Michael Bendis likes to be nice. He's such a nice asshole. And he's such a nice... Oh, he's a jackass. Okay, he made this a triple-sized book. You see how thick it is? The oversized cover. Oh, wow. Wow.
Looks really good from looking at it.
Wow. Okay, watch this. All this is the only part of the book that's new. And in the end, basically, Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man are talking about what they're going to do with Spider-Man. And in the end, he's going to go to school. They're going to school Spider-Man in how to be a superhero. The last page says, "Congratulations, Spider-Man, you're going to superhero school." That's what the whole thing led up to. They're all talking about experiences they have with Spider-Man and what they're going to do about him, because he's a little bit of a problem. So, in the end, Spider-Man's going to go to superhero school, and there's a big thing on the back that says, "School's in session next month, December 12th, 2010.
I just kind of find that a little corny.
I kind of find it corny, too. Now, for those of you who got the last Ultimate Spider-Man special, where Ultimate Spider-Man meets Blade and fights vampires, and then after that, there's a little crappy artwork story. All this was in another comic book. Brian Michael Bendis is full of shit. This is not a 3 times large comic. This is maybe a 1.5 times large comic. And the rest, and the entire back, is all a reprint of a previous Spider-Man special. The whole thing...
Tweaked.
No, it's not even redone. It's copy and pasted. It's like they literally took the Ultimate Spider-Man Super Special #1. It even says it on the top, right here.
This is a
The
joke.
first special, which I have the book,
Did you?
Super Special. The Super Special had this. I wish I could get it. I put it up in the attic already with my other Spider-Man because when the pile gets too big, you got to put them in those special bins to keep them safe. This is a reprint. This entire book, this entire second part of the book, is a reprint of the Ultimate Spider-Man special from about 3-4 years ago. When I first got into Ultimate Spider-Man, this was one of the first few comics I bought.
Wow.
I recognized it right away. First the Blade.
People.
You got gypped. Anyone who bought this got gypped. When you start reading this, you say, "Gee, this looks familiar." Yeah, it's 3 times larger because Brian Michael Bendis basically did a copy and paste. He copied the entire first special of Spider-Man from the first series before the Ultimate Crisis, and he repasted the whole fucking thing at the end. This is how the special ended, and this is how your Ultimate Spider-Man 150 ended. The same way. Brian Michael Bendis did not go out of his way to make this a 3 times larger spectacular. You just spent $5.99 to see one little story. One story about what's coming next in Spider-Man, which they're going to kill Ultimate Spider-Man anyway, and then you get a copy and paste. Look how thick this is. Do you see how thick this is? A copy and paste of the entire, from beginning to end, of something that, if you're like me and bought the Ultimate Spider-Man comics from back in the past, an exact copy of the entire Ultimate Comics Spider-Man special. An exact copy.
Apparently he's hoping for newer fans. I haven't read the Ultimate Spider-Man the one you bought
Joe,
4 years ago.
anyone who's been on Ultimate Spider-Man read that already. I promise you, anybody read that. And that's what pisses me off. Brian Michael Bendis is a piece of shit. He really is. He's real smart. Oh, I triple-sized it. That's why I'm charging you $6 for this 150th comics. Bullshit. You took your fucking special and you stuck it in the back of this book and you charged people an extra $3 for something they already had because you had to buy this to get the Ultimate Spider-Man number 150 story. So you had to pay the $6 to get the new story, along with the copy and pasted Ultimate Spider-Man special. That's a piece of that's bullshit. That's an asshole act. That's an asshole move. So I would give this. This is the worst comic of the week. The worst, because the first story was and then they copy and pasted at least 30 pages of the same shit that I read about 5 years ago, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit, give or take a few years. That's what they did. And with that, I'm getting the finger, so I'll see you guys in part 2. We're going to finish off Marvel. They got 3 more books from Marvel, and then we're going to get into DC. See you guys there.